Hello learners, in a far from mending crowd and critical reading or criticism, we have done 3 series. On that series, we have seen the male characters, how they look, Bathsheba as a woman, and what are the male perspective we have see on that videos. Now, in this session, we will try to see what are the Hardy's point of view on his narration or he create Bathsheba. But what are the points, what he thinks about this narration on this character that name Bathsheba. We will discuss in this session that what are the point of views are think by na Hardy. So the title of this session is Hardy's narration and the view of the others. And let's begin. As outlined in the introductory part of this essay, the norm and conversation of the 19th century society must have inevitably played a role in Hardy's vision of the world. The question all modern readers must ask themselves is to what extent did Hardy break with the construction of the Victorian era by creating a female heroine both helpless when and independence on universal and completely correct answer might be impossible to find, but it is arguable that Hardy at least stepped away from the traditional view on women and, more important, paved a way toward a better world, a world increasingly accepting and understanding what women want. Means in this para that what a Victorian era was looking towards to women that we have seen in other literary work, we can find that how women narration are ongoing, and the modern writer have also think that how Hardy able to write. In his work we find a modernity which is not present in other writers' work. Hardy able to change the track of literature by narrating a woman protagonist or the woman heroines. That is the leading part or the most important thing which make Hardy different from other writers of his contemporary or the parallel time period. A second para, looking back at Bathsheba's struggle to find out what she actually earned, for it is Hardy's narrator who formulated her desire to be tamed by a dominant husband. It's a quoted line from that novel is, I want somebody to tame me. I am too independent and you would never be able to know. It is difficult in Victorian time, or it is difficult to write, but Hardy has that courage that he able to write this sentence that a woman is free, woman is independent. It is difficult to write, to digest by a patriarchal society that a woman can free in Victorian time. Is it not possible? But it is possible in literature. By Hardy it is able to done that women can get a freedom. But we must ask ourselves, it is that what she really want or what she believes she ought to be want. From the way Hardy narrate the story and directly shape the characters, inner thoughts become obvious that it is the latter. It is the society that expect women not only to get married but also want to get married, as Bathsheba. Though Hardy narrative's voice puts it a marriage would be a very nice in a one sense. People would talk about me and I think I had won my battle and I should feel triumphant. Means uh, what was society's point of view? To get married but also want to get married. Means marriage is a final thing for a woman, and as a Bathsheba kind of woman, so male side it is a desire that want to be or want to get married with Bathsheba. So what they want to do, they want to close the all independence which women get, not directly but indirectly they want to encroach women's freedom. That Hardy want to tell us in this line. A second one, beside Hardy's omniscient narrator, there are the other to be talked into an account at various places throughout the novel. Bathsheba realizes she is constantly being watched and above all judged by other people. The other are various minor characters. Her farmers, all members of the ruler, rather secured society she live in, the power of what Judith Wittenberg call the feminist critics. She make one of the comments, but what Bathsheba's point of view is that Bathsheba says that whenever or she was, the several's eye looking means not looking, but some of the eyes are staring on her that she want to tell, or that was spoken by Hardy's narration. Means that Hardy making a satire that women are followed not by physically but very badly by an eye. Make an eye with an eye contact. They are making a very bad impression on the woman's side. Actually, that Thomas Hardy want to tell us. And the second feminist critics, the Judith Wittenberg, what she want to tell, the collective I is further confirmed in her essay, in which she observed the following: the they see is always in the factive hardened world. Inventable prologue to the say. There is a problem, no need to explain that in any kind of society really being talked about inevitably lead to a more serious crime. A being judged by the others, robbed of the opportunity to defend oneself. Means that every time people's freedom always taken by other. And who the other are, that always a society, means the patriarchic world which always encourage the space which is get by women. That Hardy want to tell us. Being in a watch by the other always carry a negative connotation in the novel, and despite her apparent independence and strength, means what we find that is a ongoing battle between both sides, Bathsheba's side and that eyes which are following to her. Every place where she was visiting, some eyes are always there, they are staring. But if we see in the novel, the narration tells us that it's a look like pleasant. But when we see from the male side, it is a pleasant to stare a woman. But if we see that woman's side, it's a look like little bit bad. It is not good manner to follow the eyes. But the overall, that society made that. The patriarchy, that powerful people can do it. Women cannot do. Woman has restricted. Women have to obey to the power. And power gained by a male. That they want to tell. That is the sense which we have to get. If we do very deeper reading and reading after reading, so these are the layers which a writer always put in their works. So we have to go on that depth for an understanding. Bathsheba never fails at sea when being observed by men. One such moment is reflected in the corn market scene where the farmers plainly stare at Bathsheba. At her first entry, the lumbering dialogue had cazed nearly every face had been turned towards her, and thus that were already turned rigidly fixed there. Another instance of being observed by the other is the moment she sits alone in the circus tent, feeling that many eyes were turned upon her. The power of gazing eye of follow thus mean is often strong enough to make a Bathsheba blush, hesitate, or even change her opinion and habits. So means that here we have seen two examples. The first one is a very uh, deep meaningly that the corn market means that marketplace is always encroached by a male side, but suddenly one of the women, only a single woman is in a corn market. It's a difficult or it is not digestible from that males who are doing in a business there. So that's why those eyes are following her, which is not so good in sense. Furthermore, various aspects of Bathsheba's character are revealed through the eye of the others. Headstrong and vain were just some of the labels the villagers used when discussing Bathsheba's character. Yes, it is a pity she so headstrong. This a handsome maid, however, and she will soon get picked up. The above quote clearly shows that such observations were not always complained, but more importantly, it is also contained a detachable grain of patriotism in making a judgment about how marriageable the woman is. A question was means always a woman get a satire, a woman get a criticism on his beauty, on her work. She never get a freedom. She is never free from a criticism or criticization by a society. That actually Hardy want to tell us. In Hardy's novel, the final conclusion of this whole series is, in Hardy's novel, there is enough evidence that Bathsheba was well aware of the power of a village talk and the opinion based on it. She was certainly not immune to the gossiping of her people, as the following scenes illustrate, and many work fall. See me following you, but you about the field and are wondering, oh, this is a dreadful. This moment when Bathsheba merely goes for a walk with Troy clearly shows that she could not help the feeling of unsense and even anxiety as a result of being watched by others. Means if she want to do some kind of helpful with other people, or she want to make a work, but she cannot able to do work. Why? Just because some eyes are watching always. So these are the trouble with the women in a Victorian time, and Thomas Hardy able to give a freedom to women in literature. So that's the richness of our literature, that what not happen in the actual society, it can be possible in our literature, that Hardy able to do it. Hardy able to break the society's rule, regulation, and chain which are stuck the woman in their rigidities. But Hardy, by writing some works, he able to make a breakthrough to get a woman of freedom. So these are the points which Hardy talks in the Far From Mending Crowd.